Daredevils. They make poor decisions for our entertainment. So in this episode of Study Abroad, let me tell you about my 3 favorite Daredevil dames. Let's start it off with the modern Daredevil, the stunt woman, specifically Helen Gibson. She was a stunt woman in the early 20th century when CGI was not a thing. Helen had humble beginnings as an extra in westerns, but it all changed when she was asked to be a stunt double for Helen Holmes on a show called Hazards of Helen. For it, she ran off of the roof of a building and onto a moving train. The studio was so impressed by her work that, almost like fate, Helen Gibson became the new star of Hazards of Helen. For the first time, she found herself in the spotlight, designing new stunts like chasing a train on a horse, grabbing a rope, and swinging onto that train. Or driving a motorcycle through a wooden gate, up a ramp, through a boxcar like a transportative ring of fire, and landing on a moving train. I can't even catch my train when I want to ride it like a normal person. Anyway, after Hazards of Helen wrapped up, Helen continued to work as a stunt double, solidifying her role in history as one of America's first professional stuntwomen. But if we want to talk stunts for show, we need to talk Ethel Gilmore, often called Ethel Dare. But if I could choose her nickname, it would be Ovaries of Steel. She was a wing-walking pioneer in the 1920s, and if you don't know what wing-walking is, it's literally just walking on the wings of planes, flying planes. Ethel would do little dances and flips on this narrow platform hundreds of feet in the air. And if, for whatever reason, you don't think that's the ballsiest thing ever, she was also the first woman to change planes while in air. It's basically parkour on steroids. And her most famous move was called the Iron Jaw Spin, where she would dangle off of the plane with only a rope held in her mouth. Sadly, Ethel met an early end while performing a trick and her parachute failed to deploy. But if we are talking about great falls, we'd be remiss to forget Annie Edson Taylor. She started life in the upper middle class but found herself destined for poverty in her later years. So she came up with the most logical get-rich-quick scheme. She was going to be the first to survive a trip down Niagara Falls. These are the lengths people had to go to for fame before the internet. Now Annie designed her vehicle, a pickle barrel lined with a mattress, and she tested it by sending her cat over the falls, because cats need more reasons to hate humanity. Anyway, the cat survived and Annie scheduled her trip to occur on her 63rd birthday. At 4 p.m. on October 24th, down she went, and 20 minutes and one bumpy ride later, a 63-year-old Annie Taylor was the first to survive a drop down Niagara Falls in a barrel. Afterwards, she told the press, "If it was with my dying breath, I would caution anyone against attempting this feat." I would too. These ladies took a chance, and you can say it's stupid that they risked it all for what? Fame and fortune? It's even worse when you realize that more often than not, it ended in pain and failure and even death. But there's something beautiful about pushing the limits past logic, past sense, to cut free from the rope holding them in place, even if it means they might fall. That being said, I'm scared of heights and pain, so I'm gonna leave it to the professionals. But now it's your turn. Do you know any broads we should study in the future? Leave your suggestions down below. I hope you liked this video. If you did, consider liking it and subscribing to Snarled for other awesome content. And if you want more of this, you can check out my YouTube channel at youtube.com/nerdy and quirky. Bye! Toodles.